is time for FYI, and of course, the second Thursday we get to catch up with the mayor, Scott Maddasion. Of course, Dave Vickers started this program, and he went into our Hall of Fame yesterday. Thank you for being here. A lot of dignitaries. It was a great crowd for our ribbon cutting.
I actually had that on my list too to make sure I didn't forget to mention it. No, that was a very nice ceremony yesterday and dedication for the tower. I'm really happy that we were able to get it worked out and you guys were able to get exactly what you needed to keep operations running smoothly here.
I know you, the city, Dave did so much work to get that 400-foot tower back.
Yeah.
We had to have 400 feet.
Right. I say Dave did a lot of the work.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He did a really nice job, and I just kind of, pushed the issue a little bit, like, hey, I mean, we made an ordinance change that kind of helped out the location here, and I think it was the least that the city could do for a local business that's been here for, you would probably know when it started. I don't know the date exactly, but
81 years.
Oh, there you go. So
September of 1941.
As a city, if we can't help out an 81-year-old business, then shame on us, right?
Speaking of business, let's get into, we got some various things to talk about. We're going to jump ahead. Would it be okay if we're talking about retail strategies since we're talking a little bit about business? So retail strategies, what's going on there?
Yeah, so I think it's been since kind of before Dave retired that we talked about retail strategies, and that's a company the city partnered with to attract retailers because we know we could use some more restaurants. Maybe we need a grocery store or a shoe store or something here or there. And they've come in, and so they have this thing where they gather data based on zip code, so they can tell, like, if you go down to Costco or somewhere like that and use your card, obviously they know that you used your card at Costco down in the Quad Cities, right? So they look at what could we conceivably bring to Clinton so people can stay here and spend their dollars instead of going to other places. So they've done all that research. They've identified a lot of areas where they use the word deficient, which sounds bad, but I mean, we are, I guess, deficient in some areas. So they're starting to reach out to different retailers, and they're trying to start attracting folks here. And I know Matt, the city administrator, has had some conversations with some retailers. A couple of them, we're still working on how to get them there, because some of those retailers, they have a specific place they want their business. Like maybe they want to own property. Some places want to rent. Some people want to be in a strip mall. Some people need to be near a Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of restrictions on some of those businesses. So we're trying to work through those avenues and try to attract some new stuff here to town so we can continue to keep people here and then maybe attract people here as well.
And you were telling me this is a group that has worked with the city of Dubuque and had some success up there.
Yeah, Dubuque worked with them for about 3 years. I don't know if they still are, but they garnered about 14 or 15 businesses by working with this location. Because, we don't necessarily have all the connections. And it's a lot of time to start cold calling businesses like, hey, do you want to come to Clinton? Do you want to come to Clinton? So having a group like this that really has those connections is nice to utilize their expertise.
We're going to have Andy Sokolovich of Grow Clinton in on the program the first Thursday of the new year. How much involvement is Grow Clinton with what you're doing with retail strategies, if any?
Yeah, I mean, they've been involved a little bit, but it's kind of been more of a city initiative just for the simple fact that the city, owns a majority of the land, like Liberty Square. We're really trying to get them to fill Liberty Square out there in Comanche Avenue. But Andy has been involved in conversations, especially early on. And I don't know if he's been in any recent meetings or anything like that, but we definitely keep him apprised of what's going on, because obviously as those businesses come, we want them to talk to Andy and Grow Clinton, because they're really going to be the facilitator of a lot of those business type things.
Again, visiting with Scott Maddasion, Clinton Mayor. Code update, you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to give people an update. Last meeting, we kind of talked about some code updates and some things that we need to work on. So we created 3, I guess, task forces, so to speak. They're made up of council members, city staff, our attorneys at Lynch Dallas, and then actually there's some citizens that volunteered to be on a couple of them as well. So we're trying to get input on a couple different areas. One is accessory buildings. We have a lot of property that's in the city of Clinton, but a little bit rural, so to speak. Maybe they have 5 acres or 10 or 15 acres. And so we're trying to adjust the size that accessory buildings can be on properties. And it's mainly going to affect folks 5 acres or more and almost kind of west of Mill Creek in a way. There are some on the east side of Mill Creek, but that's really what that's going to affect. So we're working that number because, a lot of people have things these days, cars, trucks, golf carts, ATVs, Yeah. So we're trying to be progressive in that manner. Our property maintenance stuff, as we have adopted the international code sets, I think the first one they adopted was in like '08 or something like that, and they've been adopted along the way. So we have the international code sets, but we have some conflicting language in our codes from, might have been from the 80s or 90s that we need to clean up. So we're really working with a task force to clean up a lot of language to make things clear and concise. So not only developers, businesses, but citizens, if you're going to put up a fence or something like that, it's very, very specific, so you know what your requirements are. And the last one that we're working on really is a historic building code. There's other communities that have them, just 2 in particular, Washington, Iowa, and Dubuque. Those are the ones that we've kind of looked at so far as their model, but we're searching for some more. Obviously, we have a lot of old buildings in town here, and we're trying to find out if it's beneficial to work on this and create more of a historic building code to give some folks not necessarily leeway, but just more options to be in compliance with codes, because obviously technology is advancing, codes are advancing, and there needs to be some synergy with our codes and what's allowed, because a building that was built 120 years ago, it might not just be easy to go in and do something that you can when you're building something new. So
now you've got the 3 areas there, and you say you've got different council members. Do you assign that, or does the council member say, hey, I'd really like to work with this particular code?
So I like to have council members that are interested in the topic on there, because if you're interested, you usually work a little harder, right? Right. Not that they don't work hard, because they do, but I just put it up for hey, we're going to work on historic buildings. Who wants to work on that? And we had a couple people volunteer. Who wants to work on this one? So we just put them on there. I mean, I could appoint, I guess, and be like, hey, I want you to work on this, but I really like them to kind of, hey, I would like to run with this one. And some of the ideas that were brought up by a council member, so obviously if it's their idea to bring it up and look at it, it's right that they get on that team as well. So
I would imagine, there are probably structured meetings when you guys do get together, but then there are also other times where they just kind of talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, and obviously, we very strictly follow open meeting laws. So if we have more than 3 council members, we're not talking business unless it's a posted meeting, right? But on these committees, if we have 2 council members, we really can interact and talk and work on stuff, and we send updates through to the other council members. Like if someone would ask, hey, what's going on with the historic building, we would give them an update and things like that. But really, these groups will work with staff and the citizens to come up with a recommendation, and then you'll see that come back to the committee of the whole, and then we'll have a discussion with all the council members and say, hey, this is what we've worked up for accessory buildings, and then all 7 can really have that conversation and say, hey, I don't like that, I like that, what about this? If we need to, we'll take it back to the group, we'll rework it, and then we'll bring it back just to make sure that we're in following all the Iowa code,
And now currently, are these codes available? I mean, are they on a book? I mean, are they online? Or if people wanted to, say, build a building, how would they go about that?
So all of our codes are published through American Legal Publishing. If you just go to Google and type in City of Clinton, Iowa ordinances, every single ordinance we have will pop up. Okay. And those are, I don't know if it's not a regular schedule, but when we need to update, we send an update to them. And so if something changes in the code, we'll send an update so it'll there. And it doesn't happen a ton that we have an update to the code. So you can always find everything on there, and they're up to date, they're accurate, and we're just trying to make sure we clean them up a little bit, I guess, is what we're really looking at. And it could be very quick for some of these, and it could be a much longer process for some other ones. So.
Just Google search anything.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more with Scott Maddasion on FYI. Our weather update being brought to you by Electronics.
Thankfully, just a little patchy fog this morning. Nothing too serious. And, of course, that'll quickly burn off here later today. Mostly cloudy skies. We're headed for upper 40s. Cloudy tonight. Rain developing late will be into the mid-30s. And a mix of rain and snow for Friday. Highs in the low 40s. With your Storm Track 8 forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Right now we do have overcast skies. We're up to 32 degrees. Our update brought to you by Electronics.
Electronics Incorporated in Clinton is the area's largest communication and alarm systems company. Electronics offers best-in-class life safety, security, two-way radios, and communications equipment from top brands. Electronics, the company you've trusted for over 50 years, can now provide fire extinguisher sales, service, and inspections, plus kitchen hood inspections as well. Call or visit them online at www.electronicsinc.com for your free estimate.
Back on FYI with Clinton Mayor Scott Maddasion. Downtown Wilson Building, give us an update on that.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks are interested in Wilson Building, and we've kind of pushed the date a couple times. It was supposed to be August, then it was December. Well, their supply chain is slow, just like everybody else's at this time. So they actually have started receiving the windows and the doors, the interior doors that they need to complete the project. So March is the new date, and I think they're up to like over 80 people on the list for 33 units.
Wow.
So, I mean, we should have people move as soon as they open the doors, right? People be moving their couches and everything in, and it'll be good. So, yeah, I mean, we're getting closer. It's just a little bit of the being the historic building and they got historic tax credits, the windows have to be of a certain quality to maintain those standards, so that's why it's taken a little bit too. So
yeah, I could see that. I could understand that. Now, we were talking a little bit about retail strategies. Are there going to be retail opportunities on the lower level there also?
Yeah, there's going to be like a maker space, so it'll be like there'll be like a few units. I think it's 4 units that have like a shared kitchen. So like say you wanted to be the next great burger guy, right? And you didn't have quite the funds to go buy a building or build a building. You can get in here. It's a low barrier to entry. Rent is fairly low. You have the commercial kitchen that you would end up sharing with the other people, but then you can try your concept out. And then we hope that after you're in there for a little bit, your concept really hits off, and then maybe you just see a nice location right across the street on 5th Avenue South, and you go in there or buy or rent, and then you move your business there or somewhere else in town. So they're going to have that. They'll have a couple of the same things for like a retail spot. So maybe you make clothing or dresses or jewelry or something like that, and you could open a little shop there, and there'll be some restrictions on how long you can be there and things like that. And then there'll also be some help through the Economic Growth Corps as far as business planning and how to run a business. And I know Andy and Grow Clinton are going to get involved with that as well down there to help foster those businesses. So hopefully their concept becomes a reality and they move on and they have great success.
Outstanding. Fire department, they've got some good news recently.
Yeah, so we applied for a SAFER grant through the federal government, and we received it. So what that's going to do is pay for 6 firefighters for the next 3 years, salaries, benefits, everything. So the city will not have to pay for those firefighters, and it'll get us up to a staffing level that the fire chief wants to be at. It'll help us staff the Lions, so Lions will be running 24/7 with a fire truck and an ambulance, which would be nice. So really excited that we got that grant. I think this is the second time we've applied for it since I've been here, and this time we received it. The first time we did not. So pretty cool thing.
It's interesting. You make these applications and you may be rejected, but you got to make that application again, don't you, Scott?
It took 3 or 4 times to get manufacturing driver in Bluff, and we got $15 million from the federal government. So persistence is a good thing if you have the right project, or and in this case, we had a staffing level that needed some assistance, so that's kind of why you get this. So yeah, you can't be discouraged on the first time getting booted out, because all these other communities that are applying, maybe it's their second time or third time and they get it and you don't get it the first time, and again, like if you have a good project, then I think you keep working at it. So.
A community our size, fire department, the police department, so important. And the police department, you've got some news there as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the last meeting. I really enjoy doing this stuff. when they have promotions and things like that, I get to kind of swear in the promotions and thing, which is kind of cool. So we had one new officer come on board, and he actually came from Wisconsin. I think he had 12 years of experience up there. So really awesome to bring on a new officer that already knows the game and understands what's going on. And then we had 4 promotions of people that were here to corporal and sergeant, which is really cool too, because you see these gentlemen and ladies that have worked for the department for 5, 10, 12 years, and then you see them move up the ranks, and hopefully eventually they'll be in the white shirts and they'll be captains or chief or maybe something like that down the road. And it's just really cool to be involved in those processes.
I know, the fire and the police department, there is training that they have to go through before they can actually become a fireman or a policeman. Now, once they do establish themselves in that particular career, is there more continuing education that you know of, Scott, that they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, they're always training and they're always doing things like that. And to move up in the ranks, it's kind of similar to other things. You have to have education. There's some requirements that you get. Maybe you need a bachelor's degree to be here. Maybe you need a master's degree to move up here. And there's a lot of training, especially within the police department and things and the fire department, I guess, maybe there's a specific thing you're a trainer on. I know when I went through the Citizens Police Academy, we got to shoot the tasers at the wall, and there's one of our police officers is the certified trainer for tasers. So he makes sure that the whole department is up to date on all that kind of stuff. So there's little things in there where you can learn and grow and be in charge of maybe a little aspect of a department. So, and I know that talking to the chiefs in both departments, we really do have a great group of folks that work in both of those departments, and I think they uphold the values of the city very, very well.
And sometimes it can be a thankless job, but it certainly can be a rewarding job as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially on the police department side through 2020 and 2021, I think they saw some of that, with the riots and the protests across the country and the shutdowns and things like that. So I really commend all of them for, staying strong. And luckily in Clinton, we didn't have too many issues with anything of that nature. But still, if you're a police officer, sometimes there's those stigmas that come out, and it doesn't matter where you're at, and it could be coming from California, but you still have to deal with it. So they all do a wonderful job, and we're excited to continue to the folks that are going to be hired in the fire department, and then the ones that were promoted and brought into the police department.
Again, visiting with Scott Maddasion. We're down to about the last 5 minutes of the program. Scott, anything else you want to throw out?
Yeah, I guess on the police department too, one thing last meeting we approved the agreement, we're going to actually buy the police station. We've been renting it for 30 years, which $80,000 a year for 30 years is silly, right? So we could have bought that building 3 times probably. But anyway, we're going to purchase that building finally, and our return on investment is less than 4 years based on what we're going to do. So that's an exciting thing too, because we're the only city in the state, I think, that doesn't own their police station. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that Santa's going to be down at Happy Joe's the next couple Saturdays. We had a great Christmas tree lighting last Friday. Holiday Train was awesome on Tuesday, so great to be involved in those events. They're doing the Freezing for Food campaign down at Hy-Vee. So if you want to donate to the local pantries, head down there. Obviously, we had the tower dedication yesterday, and then last, tickets are on sale for the Tailgate and Tall Boys Festival next June. So pop on there and grab your tickets on the website if you would like to be a sponsor. Just grab my email off the website, reach out to me, because we'd love to have as many local businesses that want to be involved in the sponsorship side come on board. So
how's that going?
It's going really well. I had a conversation with them last week, and I asked them where, ticket sales wise, I have the numbers on there, and we're over 2,000 tickets, but it's like a spread. Like some are 3 days, some are VIP, some are single day. So, but we're over that mark total. And I asked them, hey, are we in a good spot right now? Are we lagging behind? Are we good? And they feel like we're at a very strong point as far as ticket sales. We jumped off really strong at the beginning. Black Friday we had a sale. We did a whole lot on that day. And then they expect December and January to be pretty slow. there will be a couple promotions coming up. And we're going to work on some more promotions in the local area as we get into the next year, kind of create some more hype for it. But really, they told me yesterday the industry kind of shuts down the end of December and January and then picks back up firing hard in February. But we're going to stay on the pulse of everything and make sure we're rocking and rolling. So
around 2,000 right now.
Yeah.
Is it primarily local purchases outside the area?
I don't know that. I don't know that answer.
Okay.
I can get that answer, try to bring it in next time, because there's a way to get the data of where the zip codes of where people have purchased from. I know in Bloomington this past summer they had over 30 states that were represented.
Okay.
And I spoke to someone yesterday that said they had family from Michigan that was coming. So I know at least Iowa and Michigan are represented.
Is that your family?
No,
Scott,
it's
is it
not.
Your family? Okay.
No, it's not. I have family there, but it's not.
I know you do. I thought maybe it was your family.
Nope, but it's I think it's going really well, and I know now that we're getting into the new year, we're going to really start the marketing side of things. We've done mostly social media, but you're going to see it kind of blasted all over the place here coming up. So
keep us in mind.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So we'll visit with you Thursday, January 12th. You get into the new year. Do you set goals, or what do you like to do with the start of a new year?
We actually have a pre-budget meeting that's like the mayor's pre-budget meeting this afternoon at 3:30. We're going to talk about a couple things that the state sends out as far as property taxes. They set these rollback numbers and all this kind of stuff. So we'll talk about those. We're going to talk about a couple other items, and then including the budgeting strategies for council members. Hey, I really like to see us increase a staff level here for this reason, or maybe it's a contingency fund. Hey, I really think we should have X amount of dollars in and we do have a contingency, but maybe we need to raise it or lower it or whatever that is. So we'll be talking strategies today, and then I think it's the 12th of January that is our first actual budget meeting. Usually the first meeting is the proprietary funds, which is like solid waste and those things that kind of run themselves because they have revenue that comes in. And the first one's usually pretty easy. The second or third one is when we get into the general fund. That gets a little more dicey because that's basically everything else. But yeah, it'll be a busy January for sure. So. And
finally, of course, you've got a young family. Everybody ready for Christmas?
Yeah, we are. My wife has been on maternity leave for the last. She's almost done. The 20th, she's done. So I'm very grateful I didn't have to do really any shopping. She's been able to have time to do all the shopping. Normally, I'm at the store trying to figure out what to get her or somebody else.
I'm a terrible shopper.
I'm not good at it either.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
But yeah, we're ready to roll. Our 2-year-old. He finally understands Santa and all that kind of stuff. The Grinch scared him a little bit down at the Christmas tree lighting, but that's all right. So we're happy that we can start, create memories and traditions and things like that. So
great to have you, and thanks so much. Thanks. Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
It's game day at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and your Iowa Hawkeyes need your support.
Drives around a screen. Here's a wing jump